Welcome to Gospel Lessons for Beginners. This is Year 2, Lesson 41, and tonight we are going to be starting a brand new key. We're going to be learning how to play in the key of D flat. I am super excited about this tonight. If you haven't done so already, be sure to grab your PDF. You can see it up on the screen there. You can download these absolutely for free. We're going to talk about how to play in the key of D flat, the scale, the chords. We're going to do 2 simple songs tonight so you can practice it. We're going to talk about inversions as well. And if you want to get a copy of yours, all you need to do is go over to thegospelmethod.com. And there's a button here. It says free resources. And you can see tonight's lesson, Year 2, Lesson 41 is right here. All you need to do is create a free account, and you can download as many of these as you like, print them, share them with a friend, and everything is totally free. Okay, so if you haven't done so, be sure to go over there and download your free PDF. All right, so we're going to jump right in tonight. Like I said, we are starting a brand new key, and a lot of people, as we get into the higher keys, are starting to get maybe nervous, but we're going to break it down nice and slow, just like we did with all the other keys. There is more black keys, of course, but with step by step, it's not as hard as you might think. Okay, so playing in the key of D flat, our scale is the same. We still follow the same steps to make a scale: whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. And here is our D flat major scale. D flat, E flat, F, G flat, A flat, B flat, C, and D flat. Okay, now if you want to play this as a scale, we're going to start with our right hand first. Put your second finger on D flat, third finger on E flat, cross your thumb under to the F. So now our hands are free. Second finger on G flat, third on A flat, fourth on B flat. Cross your thumb under again to the C, and then you can end on the 2 on the D flat. Okay, so all together, you can play it like that. Left hand, we're going to start with our third finger on D flat, sorry. Second finger goes on E flat, F with our thumb. Cross your fourth finger over to the G flat, A flat, B flat. Our thumb goes on C, and then we cross over to the D flat. I have 2 at the end there. You can use 2 or 3, just as long as you get over there, okay? All right, so that's our D flat major scale. What is different about our D flat major scale is that we do have, like I mentioned before, more black keys, okay? We do have 5. There's B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, and G flat. So we are now using all of our black keys on the piano. And so you might be thinking, well, isn't there more keys after D flat? How are we going to add more flats if we've already used all the black keys? Well, you'll have to stick around and find out. But we are now using all of the black keys that we have here. And of course, we have our exercises: octave up, up, and back down, just normal, one hand at a time if you like. Staccato scales, that would be short. Legato, nice and smooth. And then a little fun one at the end, contrary motion, where you start in the middle with both of your hands, and then you go really slow. And then you go. Now this one is tricky. I'm not going to try to talk at the same time because the fingering is so different. So you notice here the pattern of our fingers is quite different than our other scales that we've done so far. Because there are so many black keys, it does force us to change it. So this one might feel a little strange at first because we're starting on finger 2 or finger 3. Usually we start with our thumb. So that's just some little exercises for you. The idea of the scale, as you know, is that you want to be comfortable with what notes are in the scale. Okay? If you do want to practice, do that as your warm-up, go ahead. But the most important thing for learning a new key is that you are aware of what notes are in the scale. Whether or not you can play it fast, you know, but if you're like G flat, A flat, right, you know which ones are which. Okay, now let's talk about finding the chords in the key of D flat. Okay, so we're going to use our scale right here, and we're going to follow the pattern. So there's some of them will be major chords, some of them will be minor, and one will be diminished. It always follows this pattern: major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished, major. So we're going to start with D flat. So D flat, F, A flat. That's our D flat major chord. Now remember, it has it right there. To make a major chord, you always start with the root, go up 4 half steps, and up 3 half steps. It doesn't matter that it's starting on a black key, it follows the same pattern to make a major chord. To make a minor chord, let's do E flat minor. Start with your root, go up 3 half steps, and then 4. Okay, so again, does not matter that we're starting on a black key. Major and minor still follow the formulas. Okay, so D flat major, D flat, F and A. E flat minor, all black keys. That's a nice one. E flat, G flat, B flat. F minor, we've done that one before. Excuse me. F, A flat, and C. G flat, we have touched on this one, but we haven't used it a lot in our songs. G flat, B flat, D flat. Another chord with all black keys. Okay, so it's actually, it's easier to play this one than some of our other ones that we've done because it's all black. So they're all up at the top. Sometimes if you mix the white and the black ones, it's actually harder to reach. A flat, we know that one. A flat, C, and E flat. B flat minor, we haven't played this one too much, but let's follow our pattern. B flat, 3 half steps takes us to D flat. 4 half steps takes us to F. B flat, D flat, F. And again, if you need help with major and minor chords and how to build them, go back to year 1. Those lessons are still online in the archives, and we go over in excessive detail of how to make major and minor chords. C diminished, C, E flat, and G flat. We're not going to need to know that one too much, but that is in there. And then back to D flat. Okay, so D flat, E flat minor, F minor, G flat, A flat, B flat minor, C diminished, and D flat. Those are our chords, our diatonic chords of the key of D flat. And all that means is that those are the chords that build the family of D flat. So if you're going to write a song, use these chords, okay? These are the ones that go together, the harmonies match, okay? So let's take a look now at our inversions. So we know our chords, but we need to figure out the easiest way to jump between them. We don't want to be going D flat, A flat, right? We don't want to be jumping all over the keyboard. So in every new key, we talk about, we call them homebase inversions in this class. And basically it just means the easiest way to jump between the family of chords that you're in. Okay, so what is an inversion? It just means that we're going to take a chord and we're going to rearrange the letters. Okay, so think of it as a snowman. Here's our D flat major chord, D flat, F, and A flat, the bottom of the snowman, the middle of the snowman, and the head of the snowman. We're just going to take the bottom of the snowman, put it on the top. Put the bottom of your snowman, put it on the top. Okay, it still has the same letters, D flat, F, A flat, D flat, F, A flat, right? But we've just scrambled them up. It doesn't change the chord. It is still a D flat major chord. So you can see some pictures here showing you the 3 different ways you can play D flat major. And this applies for all of the chords. If you have 3 notes in your chord, there's 3 ways to play them. Okay? If you have 4 notes in your chord, right, when we get to 7s, there's actually 4 ways, right? Because you can keep stacking your snowman 4 times. So let's take a look. This is going to be an important page. If you haven't printed it, I would recommend that you do so. For the next month, we're going to be working in D flat, and everyone that I talk to in private lessons and in group classes and things, when I meet you in person, everybody says that this is always the hardest part of learning a new key, because it's all of these, you got to learn the chord and the different inversions. So print this out, have it beside you as you're going through this chapter, and let's go through them together. So we have D flat major is our home base. D flat, F, and A flat. Okay, if we're going from D flat major and the next chord in our song is E flat minor, we're going to just go up to root position. So E flat minor stays the same as we had above because there's no notes that are the same anyway. So we have to move everybody. D flat, E flat minor. If we go back to D flat major and we want to go to F minor, we can see that F and A flat are already there. So all we need to do is move our thumb down to our C. So it's a lot easier to go D flat major, F minor like that instead of jumping all the way up. Okay, so D flat, F minor, like that. Okay, let's go back to D flat, our home. Now we're going to go to G flat major. We don't want to jump all the way up, so let's look if any notes are the same. D flat is the same, but we do need G flat and B flat. So we're going to move our third and fifth finger over, but keep our thumb the same. All right, so G flat major, we're going to play D flat, G flat, and B flat. Okay, so that motion. Back to D flat again. A flat major. Let's see if any notes are the same. A flat. Okay, we need that one. So let's keep our pinky the same. We need to get a C and an E flat. And it'll sound like that. So we're going to put our pointer down on the E flat. And our thumb was up here. We're going to slide it down to the C. Okay, so pinky stays. D flat, A flat, D flat, A flat. All right, and then the last one that we're going to use quite a bit is B flat minor, sorry. We already have the D flat, we already have the F. All we got to do is move our pinky to the B flat. Okay, so D flat, B flat minor, D flat, B flat minor. And you notice on this one, I am using my pointer on the F. That is the best fingering for that. So if you're doing D flat like this, it's your middle finger. And when you go up to B flat minor, just put your pointer on F instead, like that. Okay, so again, the hand positions are the same. We've done C, F, G, all the keys up to D flat. And the hand position stays the same, but we are moving further up into the keys. Remember when we get into the black the black scales, it starts on a black key. There's a lot of black notes in there. Use the top third of your keyboard instead of the bottom third. Okay, and especially now, like the farther we get through, it's a circle of fifths. The more flats and sharps that we're adding, the farther you want to make sure you're staying up here. All right, let's go through our warm-ups. Again, I know it seems scary because there's flats everywhere, but it's the same thing you guys have done this whole way through, okay? Just go slow and use your chart. So D flat, G flat. Just practice that. Get your muscle memory. D flat, A flat. Exercise 2, D flat, G flat, D flat, A flat, D flat, E flat minor, D flat, B flat, or B flat minor, D flat, F minor. Okay, and then so I've just mixed them all up so you can practice going in between back and forth. Okay, so let me know in the chat. I see Marilyn's here, Francine, Yusuf, and Donalyn are already here. Hello, everyone. Hopefully you guys are learning a lot tonight with our D flat. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the chat, those of you who are watching live. And if you're watching the replay, you can put your comments or questions in the chat box in the comments below. So we're going to jump into our first song tonight, Anchored in Jesus. This is a hymn. I picked some simple ones so you can practice your inversions. But we're going to do Anchored in Jesus, and we're also going to be doing Sea of Victory, which is more of a contemporary song. Okay, but let's start with our hymn. We have D flat, G flat, E flat, A flat. Okay, so these are the main diatonic chords. I don't even think we have any minors. No, I just made it really simple. And I'll play it for you so you can hear in case you're not familiar with the song. Then we're going to go through it step by step, starting with the right hand. Excuse me. So that you can play it. Upon life's boundless ocean where mighty billows roll, I fixed my hope in Jesus, blessed anchor of my soul. When Trials fierce assail me as storms are gathering o'er. I rest upon his mercy and trust him more. I've anchored in Jesus, the storms of life I'll brave. I've anchored in Jesus, I fear no wind or wave. I've anchored in Jesus, for he hath power to save. I've anchored to the rock of ages. Okay, so really simple, steady beat, but all of our inversions. Plus there's a bonus chord. See if you can figure out which one it is. There is one chord that does not belong. It's a non-diatonic chord. So see if you can find that. Let's start on verse 1. Starting with D flat, group of 4. Oh, wonderful. Upon life's boundless ocean where. Then we have G flat. So keep your thumb here on the D flat. We're going to move our other 2 fingers up. So we end up with D flat, G flat, and B flat for the mighty. Mighty billows. Back to roll. Roll. I fixed my hope in Jesus, blessed anchor. E flat does not belong. It's our a little bit of a fun chord. Normally, if we go back up and look at our scale in the key of D flat, it should be E flat minor. Okay, so this is just a little happy chord in the middle, and so we're just going to play it in root position. E flat, G, and B flat. Anchor of my... I lost my key. Fixed my hope in Jesus, blessed anchor of my soul. And then we go to A flat. So C, E flat, A flat. Again, these are all on your chart. Okay, keep going through the verse. When trials fierce assail me as storms. Up to your G flat, D flat, G flat, B flat. Are gathering o'er. Back to normal. I rest upon his mercy and trust. A flat, C, E flat, A flat. Trust him more. Chorus. I've anchored in Jesus. The storms. Up to G flat. Storms of life I'll brave. I've anchored in Jesus. Up to the E flat again. Now if you notice, our chorus and the verse have the same chords. I fear no wind or down to A flat. Just different words. I've anchored in Jesus. Up to G flat. He hath power to save. I've anchored to the rock of ages. Okay? So, I know it's simple, but it's not easy, okay? Especially with adults, our brains get it before our fingers do. It is going to take time. A lot of people, even when we get to the week 3 of the key, they're still working on inversion. So just take your time. I just don't stay there for 3 weeks because we want to keep moving in the course so that you guys have lots of new skills each week. But if you need to keep doing inversions all month, keep doing it. That's important. It's going to help you with your muscle memory. Okay, nice and slow, we're just going to add in a left-hand bass note. Upon life's boundless ocean where mighty billows roll, I fixed my hope in Jesus, blessed anchor of my soul. When trials fierce assail me as storms are gathering o'er, I rest upon his mercy and trust him more. Chorus. I've anchored in Jesus, the storms of life I'll brave. I've anchored in Jesus, I fear no wind or wave. I've anchored in Jesus, for he hath power to save. I've anchored to the rock of ages. So that would be a good start for the key of D flat. So it's nice and steady. You can practice your inversions. Some people play this one a little faster. Upon life's boundless ocean where mighty billows roll, I fix my hope in Jesus, blessed anchor of my soul. When trials fierce assail me as storms are gathering o'er, I rest upon his mercy and trust him more. Oh, I've anchored in Jesus, the storms of life I'll brave. I've anchored in Jesus, I fear no wind or as we were playing it, there is a lot of walk-ups and walk-downs in this. So we actually might come back to this next week and go ahead and add those in to the same song. I'll think about it. Let me know in the chat. That might be fun homework, is to try to figure it out yourself based on all of the rules that we've done in walk-ups and walk-downs on the previous chapters, and see how close you get. Yeah, I might do that. I'm going to write that down. Yeah, there's a lot in this one. And they're really simple ones, too. The ones that we know. Yeah. Okay. So, but for this week, I've anchored nice and steady with your inversions on your right hand. Okay, maybe add a subdivision in your left hand if you're brave. I've anchored in Jesus, for he hath power to save. I've anchored to the rock of ages. Okay, so that's I've anchored in Jesus. Again, I know didn't take long to talk about it, but to actually go through that with your chart is probably going to take a couple of hours. So take your time, go through, find your muscle memory. All right, let's go down to this one. I see a victory. This one is more of a contemporary song. I apologize, I don't know when it was written, but it's definitely in the last probably 10 years. It's pretty new. And it actually starts with a minor. Oh, hold on, I better make sure I'm doing the inversions. That's the thing I've noticed doing this course with you guys, is that I actually do different home bases in different keys naturally. So I always want to make sure I'm doing the ones that I give you in the chart, because you don't have to do that one. That home base is just a good place to start. The weapon may be formed, but it won't prosper. When darkness falls, when darkness falls, it won't prevail. This one's kind of new to me too, because the God I serve only knows how to triumph, something like that. My God will never fail. Oh, my God will never fail. Chorus. I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory, for the battle belongs to you, Lord. I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory, for the battle belongs to you, Lord. So it's pretty nice and steady again. Doesn't have any crazy rhythms or anything. So just nice and steady. And we're going to practice those inversions. So, we're starting with B flat minor. So that's kind of neat, instead of on the D flat. So we're going to start with B flat minor. Look at your chart. D flat, F, and B flat. So we'll start with verse 1. The weapon may be. Now to get to G flat, it's actually not too hard. We just have to move our F to G flat. All the other notes are going to stay the same. Formed, but it won't. Then back to D flat, root position. Prosper. Now check this out. We just do the same thing 5 times. Back to B flat minor. D flat, F, and B flat. When the darkness, back to G flat again. Falls, it won't prevail. And that just repeats itself. Back to B flat. Because the God I serve knows only how to triumph. My God will never fail. And then it repeats again. B flat. Oh, my God will never fail. Okay? So really, really simple. You guys can do this. I know we see these songs on YouTube, and I Googled this. Someone had suggested it last week, and so I looked it up, or a couple weeks ago. I looked it up, and the YouTube video is like 8 minutes long, and there's all these interludes and guitar solos, and, you know, they're just doing all the things. And beautiful. It sounds great. But you look at that, and you're like, I could never play that. That must be so hard. And then you go find the chords, and if you play just the basic what's on the page, it's actually a lot easier than you would think. Let me know in the chat if anybody knows this one, if you've heard it before. And then let's go over to the chorus. So verses, very, very simple. Okay, B flat minor, G flat, D flat, over and over and over. I have here at the bottom, we have D flat and a slash. That's what we're going to play if we're leaving to go to the chorus, because the chorus has the extra 2 slashes right here. Okay, so we'd have 1, 2, 3, 4 right there. Okay, now if let's say you wanted to play the verse again, that's why I have these 2 extra slashes, as like you might need them, because then you'd have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then back up to the beginning. Okay, but if you're going to go straight to the chorus, you don't need them because they're right here. Okay, so we're still playing D flat here on the chorus. So I'm gonna see and then go to B flat minor again. So D flat, F, and B flat. Victory, I'm gonna see and then you go move your F to the G flat, so you get to G flat major. Victory for the battle, D flat, root position. Battle belongs to you, Lord. A flat. So C, E flat, and A flat. Lord, I'm gonna see a victory. And then again, it just repeats the first part of the chorus again. So B flat minor again. Victory, I'm gonna see a victory. It repeats exactly the same. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. And then here I have 1, 2, 3, 4 to finish off the chorus. Okay, that's our group of 4, so that we can go to the bridge. So I was talking about this a couple weeks ago or last week, about we always want things to be in the right amount of groups. So we see here we have 4, 4. So it happens again here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So if we wanted to go back to the chorus, we wouldn't need to play all 4, because then we'd end up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We don't want that. So if you wanted to repeat the chorus again, you would just play A flat slash and then go right back to the top. Okay, for the battle belongs to you, Lord. 1, 2. I'm gonna see a victory. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Especially in these contemporary songs, that does happen a lot, where you kind of have to keep track of all the different slashes as you go, because they like to do things that are unexpected. That's what makes it sound modern. All right, but let's say we're going to the bridge. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 A flats. You take what the enemy meant for evil. Okay, so it switches into a different section there. So we have G flat, D flat, G flat, and B flat. You take what the enemy meant for evil. A flat, C, E flat, A flat, evil, and you turn it. So that's a slash chord. So we have D flat on the right hand. We do need our F for this one on the left hand. Turn it for good, and then back up to our G flat. Okay, turn it for good. You turn it. B flat minor, D flat, F, and B flat. Turn it for good, and back to A flat. And again, the bridge just repeats itself twice. Okay, so do that 4 times. Back to the G flat. And you can see here, I left a little space on this G flat because you play first. So it's like, you take, play. You take what the enemy meant for evil, and you turn it for good. You turn it for good. 1, 2, 3, 4. You take what the enemy meant for evil, and you turn it for good. You turn it for good. Okay? And again, we have these little slashes. So if you're going to repeat the bridge over and over and over, you'll need all 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Go back to the beginning. If you're going to the chorus, you only need 2. 1, 2, back to the chorus. Okay? So that's the inversions and the counting. All we're going to do now is we're going to add in our left hand, and we'll be good to go. So it's nice and steady. I see we've got a couple more have joined in on the chat. Connie and Rebecca are here. Hi, guys. If you guys have any questions as we go, let me know. So I'm going to start with verse 1, chorus, and bridge, just going nice and steady. I'm not changing anything on my right hand. I'm just adding in my bass note, and this is going to give us the structure of what we see on the page. So the weapon may be formed, but it won't prosper. When the darkness fails, it won't prevail. So we sound almost like the real song, 'cause the God I serve knows only how to triumph. chorus. 2. I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. I'm just gonna scroll. Lord, slash, slash, slash. You take what the enemy meant for evil and you turn it for good. You turn it for good. 2, 3, 4. You take what the enemy meant for evil and you turn it for good. You turn it for good. Go back to the chorus. I'm gonna see a victory. And then you can keep going. Okay? So that is what is on the page. You can do that. Very, very simple. Use your chart for your inversions. How do we take this to the next step? Some of you might be like, I already know how to play in D flat. I'm just here because I like the series. How can I take it to the next step? Add your bounces and add dynamics. Okay, so this one, there isn't too much. I was even looking at it this week for our intermediate class. There's not too much I would add in terms of chords. It would just be in what we would add in how to make it interesting. So add a little bounce. So 1, 2, bounce. 1, 2, bounce. 1 on the left hand. Bounce. Where are we? Bounce. Bounce. Okay, starting like really soft on the verse. And then on the chorus we could go, I'm gonna see a victory. Use your octaves. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you. I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. Gives it more intensity. Battle belongs to you, Lord. And then the bridge, come right down again. You take what the enemy meant for evil, and where are we? You turn it for good. I'm just coming down on my volume. Turn it for good. Still doing octaves, still doing bounces, but quieter. You take what the enemy meant for evil, and you turn it for good. You turn it, get louder. You take what the enemy meant for evil, down. So my left hand there, here's a trick. So if you're doing octaves or you're trying to bring it down, bring it close together. Okay? So up here. Right? I'm here. But then when I wanted to intensify, I went down. So this is really low, but you could, okay? What's that for? Okay, and you turn it for good. I'm gonna get more intense, I'm gonna go down. You take what the enemy meant for evil. I'm playing the exact same thing, but I'm playing it lower. Turn it for good. Now it might be a little bit too low, but you get the idea. Turn it for good. You take what the enemy meant for evil, and you turn it for good. You could even add, we've talked about this before on bridges, is our left hand can do subdivisions like we do on the fast songs. We go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and right on like, oh, fly away, those fast songs. You can do it on the slow songs too. So turn it for good, 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. So basically my right hand is playing, let's start at the top of the bridge. G flat slash slash slash, 4 sounds. My left hand's gonna play 8. So 1 slash slash slash, like that. So you take what the enemy meant for evil and you turn it for good. So again, making it more intense. Turn it for good. Take my right hand and go higher. You take what the enemy meant for evil and you turn it for good. You turn it for good. Go even higher. You take and like just slowly building it, hands together. And then the more intense you get, you can take your hands up hard in either direction or both directions, okay? So that's a trick. Again, simple, makes sense, but very hard to practice. One hand at a time, right? You can try like, okay, let's go down with my left hand, keep my right hand the same. Okay, and then you got to think about inversions on the right hand, and there's a lot to it. But that's the simple idea of how you could build that out. So I'm not adding new chords, I'm not adding sevens, not adding walk-ups. I'm not changing the notes at all. I'm just playing with dynamics and inversions. Okay? So that's some things you could do with that one. We are going to get this one in all 12 keys up on the premium membership, which is coming so soon. I'm so excited. Again, let's just take a look at how you can find that. So on our website, The Gospel Method, you can get your free resources here. This is the one we're doing tonight. And those go down, there's hours and hours of stuff there. But coming very, very soon, end of August, early September, we're going to have our premium membership. And in here, we will be talking about how to get intermediate level of what you're doing right now. Okay, so we take songs and we just take them to the next level so that there's more added to it. Within that premium membership, we are going to talk about how to change keys, how to make any song in any key, how to key change in the middle of a song. There's going to be video lessons on that as well. We're also going to have a library of a lot of songs in all 12 keys. So some of it, like we did what was that, like year one right at the beginning, like every praise, for example, was in C in year one. On that premium membership, you can get that in all 12 keys, download and print as many as you like, just like you can now. Okay, and that's going to be coming soon, end of August, early September, as long as everything keeps going as well as it is right now. Thank you to everyone who's helping me with that library right now. We're trying to get as many files in there as we can before we launch that for you, and that's going to be a really low monthly price. Most places that do gospel memberships are usually about $35 to $50 American a month. We are going to be nowhere close to that. We're going to be very affordable so that everyone can enjoy that resource. All right, so that is the songs for tonight. I do also want to mention if you are looking to take your lessons to the next level, over on our website as well, there's a button that says book a lesson. This is for Zoom lessons with me or one of our other gospel teachers. I have had the pleasure of meeting so many of you from the chat through these Zoom lessons. It is month to month. Come once a week, get some feedback on your playing. It's a lot of fun. I really, really enjoy meeting you guys. So if you want to do that, just go to the website, put in your information, and that'll just let me know that you'd like me to give you a call. And I'll give you a call and see if you'd like to set up that lesson. So that's D flat. I hope nobody panicked. I hope everyone's okay. D flat major. Next week, we're going to be talking about walk-ups and walk-downs in the key of D flat. Have a wonderful weekend, and we will see you next week. Bye.